Oh yeah. One moment. The Tascam blew up the video. Let's see. Is it acceptable now? Hey, okay. I need a little bit more setup time here because I was trying to do a bunch of stuff this morning. And long story short, Engine X RTMP sucks. Wasted a lot of time on that this morning because I was trying to set up RTMP for a relay for it locally so that I could then, you know, see the stream on like local devices. That would have made sense. Oh, Deck Talk is broken. Let me fix that.
Deck Talk is now online.
And offline.
Wesley. Subscribe with Prime.
Oh, okay.
They've subscribed for 44 months.
And offline.
Wesley, thank you for the Prime sub and for 44 months and for the floppy disks that we're about to take a look at. You can even see RTMP, RTFM. I mean, I tried to do that too. That didn't help. Oh, man. Thanks, Tascam. Yeah, it was, yeah, I plugged in the SSD dock for that camera. We got to format the drives and distribute them to all of the cameras here. And then it like just went green. The whole screen went green for some weird reason. I have no idea why. So, whatever. Yeah. I have an interesting idea for what we're going to make a second channel video today. I thought I was going to do this differently, and then I watched my floppy imaging video again, and I realized, wait a minute, what I was thinking I would do, I basically already did, so there's no point in doing that again. So we're going to reframe the same thing differently. Today, we're going to try a second channel video concept where I am going to attempt to image floppy disks for an unknown system, and as a challenge, we're gonna see how much data we can get off of them in a way that's like usable. So I think framing it as like a vintage computer challenge run thing could be kind of interesting. Am I releasing a video today? No, but maybe tomorrow, depending on how this goes. let me put it this way. You remember that software I showed you yesterday at the start of stream? Yeah, I spent like 50 hours on that this week. So no, I didn't have time to make a video. Tascam just wants to be chroma key. It just wants to mess up the color space of all the video. Okay. Oh, we're almost there.
CHEER 100 here's a magic brick chasm. And there's an empty desk.
End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Floppy 80% speed run? Exactly. Except challenge run. Where the handicap is that it's a weird disc type that we don't know anything about. The only thing I can tell you is that it's probably not hard sector. Alright. Before we get started on that, I want you guys to see this god-awful, horrendous, terrible garbage light that I bought. It's so bad. The like light, the CRI level is 1. It's so horrible. I don't know how they did it. Like here, let me turn off the LEDs. All right, so you can grasp just how atrocious the color balance is on this. It's so bad. It's not that it's just bright. It's just like super low CRI. It's horrible. Yeah, so anyway, I was going to use this as a webcam fill light over there. No. Pass. I bought a lot of video production garbage from, and I'm calling it garbage, from a local university, and these were part of it. And I thought when I first got them, like, oh, hey, we could, use those for random lights and places. At least I didn't pay that much for them, and they're just absolutely worthless. Put it behind the overhead projector screen. It is not as bright as that is. All right, so that's a light. Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. I love how they're like such gargantuan LED array things in here too. Like this thing is so much bigger than it needs to be. I mean, yeah, there's diffusion and trying to make it large, but it's just garbage. The other thing you're not getting out of this feels like play school grade plastic, and it's so big and flexible and hollow. It's oh gosh, I have 2 of them. They're on 6 volts power supplies, 1.5 amps. They are just bleh. Same university as a decorator. Yeah, it's the only one I know of that does auction type stuff. So, all right, let me get some drives up in here, and then we can start the actual task. We'll intro it, because here's the deal. I'm going to record this, and then I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to see if I can make a second channel video out of this, because I think it's possible. So, did you order the GoTech for CD-ROM drives? No. Let me put it this way. I have a different project that I've been working on that I would have really loved to have those for. That I probably dropped between $1,500 to $2,000 on recently. So I'm not like kind of pumping the brakes on the spending. Because, oh my gosh. Especially with tax stuff coming up. I've been bad. All right. These are drives that I have recovered data on, and before I left this morning, I also had my server make a second copy of them. That way, even if the drives that they're stored on die, they're now on another drive array, even though they aren't like archived, they're not H.265. I have 2 copies of them. And they're both on parity RAID arrays, so they should be good. So I'm going to wipe these drives so that we can record. Because literally every single one of my recording SSDs I have taken home and have them in a box protected so that they won't be overwritten until I can go through and process the footage. So yeah, I am currently working through archiving all of my video data that I recovered now. So one of the servers at home is currently, right now, literally, as I'm talking, running an archive job that's probably going to last 3 days. And it's not even all of the footage, it's just some. So yeah, that's fun. How many floppies do I have to archive? I think it's only 3, but we'll see how it goes. All right, this one I don't believe I will be able to see footage on. No, this is the ATEM drive. I have already confirmed this is what it should be, so I'm just gonna wipe it. All right. Could be buying 64 megabytes of RAM with that money. Dude, I saw an image from Mac 84 on Mastodon of a Micro Center charging $600 for only 32 gigs of RAM. Dude, we're so screwed. So screwed. 1010, I recovered data from my recording drives, not from the array that died. The array that died is 100% gone. No recoverable data exists. You know what would have been cool? Okay, like it would have been one of them smart things to do. I got this drive, which is the unique drive, and then these 2 drives are identical. I did not pay attention to which is which. I should have grabbed the second one of those first. All right, this is the other drive that was not formatted. Okay. Alrighty. Keep using my DDR4 from 5 years ago. Yep. Try to get 64 gigabyte Corsair is going to be a $900. End up getting Crucial. Yeah. Because they can find a sealed copy of Windows 98 to install in a new PC. Hey, did you guys know that there's another kind of thing like legacy update called Windows Update Restored? It almost sort of works on Windows 98. I tried it last night, and it got through a couple of rounds of updates, and then it just stopped working, and every time I would open the page, it would say I needed to restart the computer. But it did a couple of things. I was trying to figure out a problem where I have a USB KVM that every time I disconnect the USB KVM to just like switch between 2 systems, it kills the USB drivers for a game controller, and then that takes out like a whole bunch of stuff. So realistically, I just need to get a USB KVM that emulates the device IDs being connected even when they're not connected. I have to get that, which really sucks because that's going to be expensive. So, oh well. But I don't see any other option with trying to fight wonky drivers. It would be nice if it did VGA, but I'm not going to make that a hard requirement because I'm not actually routing video through right now. I'm just using it for peripherals. Alrighty. Let's grab some stuff. I did some setup today. So some things are mildly improved with my whole thing over there. While I'm gesturing wildly over there, let me grab a thing so that this looks less like a trash heap. Then move this over here. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. One of a little thing called WinS-Patcher. I have no idea what that is. I've used most extensively without a problem. Might Mist be a pebkek? I mean, yes, the creation of Mist was a pebkek. I will agree with that. But if you're saying I made a mistake in trying to use the software, I don't really know how I could have made a mistake when it's click button install, click button reboot. There's not a whole lot I have control over with that. So, yeah. You know, site called Legacy Update from XP System. Yeah, Legacy Update is excellent, but there is Windows Update Restored for pre-XP systems, which is cool. Realistically, I don't know what on earth you would do before Windows 98, because I feel like Windows 3.1 didn't have internet updates. Like, maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah. Is there always 2 dashers on there? No. That story happened during the Data General restoration stuff. But yes. Okay. I have to check that out now. Yeah, it almost worked really well. I have a feeling maybe something's weird about my system. I don't know. But yeah. So Windows Update 3.1 was done through floppies. Yeah. There's probably like NT4 or some other weird stuff that you'd use it with, but like, I mean, it should exist. It's just like not that critical, in my opinion. All right. I think we're ready. I kind of regret not adding an A10 record button to the web interface, but it doesn't really matter that much. So, okay, you just didn't go on line with 3.1, yeah. I think we are ready to start here. Yeah, all right. So here's the deal, all right? My goal here is to record a second channel video where we frame trying to image the floppies as kind of a challenge and see how far in the data extraction we can get, okay? So that's the premise here. I'm gonna record an intro for this, and then we're gonna go through the process and see how much data we can get. So I'll explain more of this in the intro here as I go along. And just because I've met you guys, I'm taking the headphones off. So, all right. Fair. Yeah. All right, here we go. First time doing any recording, and actually a little bit here because drive storage stuff kind of really did a number on me. All right, here we go. Let's pop this up like this. Hello there. Today, I'm setting a challenge for myself. I was recently given this box of floppy disks by Wesley, who is local to me, and they are kind of interesting because inside of here, there are 3 disks that are labeled SSL G Series Program Disk, and then 2 disks that are labeled Real 1, and then they almost sound like music track things. Now, I know Wesley looked up what the device was for this, and I think it might be for some kind of music hardware, but I don't remember exactly what it was, and I'm kind of going into this blind because I think it could be an interesting challenge to see how much data I can extract from a floppy disk from a system that I don't know what is by just going into it completely blind. So today, we're going to leverage the power of a grease weasel and see just how much data we can get off of a completely random, weird floppy disk. All right, there we go. Boom. Hi, YouTube. So, you know the cameras are recording inside, so that's not gonna show up. Insert intro music. This is a second channel video. There is no intro. All right. There's one thing I want to do before we pull this all over to the other system, and I have a data general. You know what? Actually, let's not take the data general. I'm going to grab the, where were they? AES lanyard discs. All right. The call's coming from inside the house. You can dream, yeah. Just said, can I accept higher capacity compact flash cards? The Kodak is like so it's been sitting over here for a year. I haven't even touched it. I think it's hilarious how many people commented in on the video like, oh, you're being so unfair to it. Oh gosh, dude, I got digital cameras that are older than that record higher quality video to floppy disks than that thing does to digital storage. Like, that thing sucks. It's not like, it's just bad. It was cheap garbage then. It just combined a bunch of features. That's the only reason it had any reason to exist. So, all right. Like Sony Mavica, I was thinking Panasonic, whatever that thing is, but yeah, it's like a Mavica. So, one moment, time for the eternal forever. I'm blowing my nose constantly on stream because I talk way too much and way too loud. Cue everyone thinking I'm dying. All right. Panasonic like Mavica? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Panasonic was LS120. Yes. Yeah, not like real floppies. I mean, it depends on your definition. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Boom. Oh, I'm trying to get not reflections in the video here. Did not know there was an LS120 Panasonic? Yes. It's pretty darn awesome. All right. So this is the box of discs that I was given, and let's go through what all exactly I have here. So first I have SSL G-Series program disc. Again, I have no idea what is on this. Then we have Reel 1 backup, don't do it, order Kodak? I don't know, hit list something. And then we have Reel 1, don't do it, order again. I guess these are the same. Probably. This one's a backup of this one. And then it seems like the rest of the discs are probably new, unused. So we have 3 discs really that we're going to be focusing on. We will archive all the others just in case they had something, but these, and in particular this one, are the ones that we want to mostly work on. Now, to do this, I'm going to be using a grease weasel. I forget exactly which version this is, but this is the fancy modern USB-C one. This is a floppy disk controller that you can plug into your modern PC and directly access floppy drives. Yeah, exactly how you would want for doing archival recovery like this. Now, before we do anything else, there is one thing that I want to check, because these are 8-inch discs, they're massive, and that is whether or not they are hard sector discs. Now, this box is unlabeled for this, and this box is unlabeled for this, although I highly suspect that these are not hard sectored. But let me demonstrate what that would look like if they were. So this disc, if we rotate the media inside, you'll see that there are a bunch of holes in the index position sensor location. That is because the different sectors that go on the disc would each be aligned to one of those holes. On this disc, yeah, we don't have that. So we probably only have one index sensor hole, and there it is. This is used to indicate the position of index track 1, or sector 1 on here. So this would go this way, and then each sector would be defined in software, essentially. So we don't have to worry about this being a hard sector disk, thankfully. We can image disks like this, and I actually have these disks imaged and put up on archive.org because they are compatible with a weird machine that I don't know if it's easy to format these disks for, but we don't have to worry about that here. So let's move on over to the floppy drives that I'm going to be imaging these with. Sorry, I forgot about pressing the button there so you can see me. Hi. That sleeve looks very cool. Oh, the quiet designs, yeah, they're pretty awesome. This one has just been roughed up because it was in the front and the box got shrink crushed. Matter of fact, should I just remove the shrink wrap? Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to leave the shrink wrap on here, and it's just damaging the box and crushing the floppies. Yeah, let's get that out of here. Ooh, that's nice looking. So yeah, these are hard sector discs. New unused. For a lanyard, I want to say AES lanyard model 60 is what we determined it would be. So, yeah. They might have evaporated into snot. Oh, I'm looking forward to showing off my new setup for this stuff. This is going to be fancy. Okay. Okay, just gotta make sure that me, a tall person, actually fits in frame. And that my Note 9 I use as a backup data source is not shown. Okay, now you want this gone, don't you, huh? That'd probably be, like, smart. Hold on. Overlay source, none. I clicked the wrong button. Workbench. This thing. Boom, and then that. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I think that's everything. I don't have an ability to start recording over here unless I launch software.
Chloroku says CHEER 100 smart.
Record. Perfect. Okay.
I think we're disproved.
I left my coffee over there. That's not acceptable.
Line.
Moody lighting. Kind of. There's just no, I mean, I guess here, let me do this. There. That'll help. There's no lights really facing this direction. Okay. Driver for 8-inch floppies. Nothing connected to. Don't look into it as you turn it on. I'm turning it, not turning it on, so it's already on. All right, here we go. Record, start. Boom. Okay. Yes, okay. All right, so here we are at my archiving workstation where we're going to attempt to read these. And what I have here is a set of two QTrack 284 drives. It's been a little while. I don't remember exact model numbers on them, but they are 80-track, double-sided capable 8-inch floppy drives. Here I have an adapter that allow me to connect them to my grease weasel, and I just have it in this box because it's a loose PCB. But with that, I can just connect this like that. This cable, which is a 50-pin ribbon cable, goes all the way off to the back. That connects both of these drives here. We will address these drives as drive A and drive B on the grease weasel. To connect this, I just have a little USB hub over here that I can plug this directly into. Now, I have a particular setup here that I like to use and recommend that I have. Let me redo that. Now, I have a particular way of connecting all of these things that I prefer and would recommend, where the grease weasel is actually connected to a USB hub that I can turn the power on and off for, and then I have a data switch power center. That's a bad way of saying all of those words. Let's do that one more time. Now, I have a particular way that I have connected everything over here that is very beneficial and I would recommend using. I have a USB hub over here that I can turn power on or off to the connected device, and I have a power center here that allows me to turn the floppy drives on or off, because it is better to turn the grease weasel on first and then turn on the floppy drives.
End of line.
All right. What's in the cardboard box? 8-inch to 3 or 8-inch to Shugart standard whatever floppy adapter thingamajig. Wilson, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 8 months. I appreciate that. I have the deck top. I'm not wearing my headphones. It lets me hear that so that I can do the recording takes without it being like too much annoyance. But I am going to go ahead and put them back on now because we're about to get into the long, boring stretch here. So, all right. You always know when you can, yeah. Okay. I think, wow, there's no great way for me to run the control software over here because it has to be super wide, and then I can't hit the record button, but then it blocks chat. These are 8-inch floppies. A little bit more difficult to load. Okay, workstation, boom, there we go. All right, I fixed the exposure on this. We'll see how long that takes. I don't feel like updating it every single time, but we'll try it one more time. This is gonna be funny editing. This is like nothing. All right. Yeah, okay. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention. Oh, I need a shot of me putting the discs in. Hold on, let me just angle the camera over to look at the drive. All right. And starting recording. All right, now to capture the data, I have an external SSD here, and we're going to first verify that I know which drive is which on here, because we're going to use the greaseweasel drive command. And I'm realizing now this light is facing directly into the webcam and will make the video quality significantly worse. That's why the lighting is always moody over here. Take two. All right, now I have an SSD connected so that I can bring these files home. No one watching this needs to know that I'm filming at an office and I will upload from home. Welcome to the thoughts that run through my mind. All right. All right, now I have a drive to record these files to so that I can sneakernet them around, and I am going to be using the greaseweasel tool here. We can verify which drive we are using by running the clean command, which will move the heads back and forth. And if we do that and then look over here, we can see a light turns on the drive, and that drive becomes very noisy. We should actually use this to clean the drive before we do any imaging, though. Where's my 8-inch imaging cleaning thing with jigs? There they are. All right, this is single side. We want double side.
100, you are ahead of me. I rarely allow thoughts on my mind on the weekend.
End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Where's the spritz bottle of stuff? You know, they're kind of scattered all over. I can probably find one without too much effort. Let's see. I don't know where they went. Fine, screw it. I mean, no, I would actually really like to use those. Where'd it go? So the
GADGET 360S subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 27-MONTHS and says 27 months is a substantial part of my active Twitch viewing.
End of line.
Gogo Gadget, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 27 months. I appreciate that. You can't, oh, you can see me. Okay. All right. Now, I have here an 8-inch cleaning disc. It is felt exposed on both sides, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of isopropyl to it in a couple of places, and this will just give me something to clean the heads with before we start, and we'll know that the drive is not going to damage the discs. I would recommend doing this, especially for 8-inch drives, because there are fans inside that just pull air through here. And if you're favoring one drive over another, it can pull a lot of dust onto that. So now we'll run the clean command again. And this time we're going to let it actually go. And it doesn't hurt, just do it one more time. I mean, it kind of does, because it, like, sands the heads, but it'll be fine. And with that, our drive is nice and ready. I'm gonna leave it open without a disc in there for just a moment so that I know that there is no more isopropanol on the heads, because it's not great to put that on the media. All right. We getting a flux image of the felt? No, that was just the clean thing where it moves the heads. 5 1/4 inch drives do not use AC motors. 5 1/4 inch drives use DC motors. Some of them spin all the time, some of them do not. But they are not AC. All right. Let's do our next thing. All right, now I'm going to make 3 folders for our files to go into. So we have SSL G series program disk. So let's go ahead and do SSL G series program disk. I feel like a wizard. I just typed that all without making any mistakes. All right, and then the next two, there's like a whole bunch of stuff on here. I'm just gonna call them Reel 1 and Reel 1 Backup because that's how they are labeled on there, and then everything else is the same. So, Reel, there I made a mistake. 1 and Reel 1 Backup. All right, we are going to image this as CryoFlux RAW format. So we're gonna make a folder for that. And I think we are ready to put the first disk in here and see what we get out of this. All right, so I am just going to run a very basic greaseweasel command that will give us the highest quality data we can get from these disks so that we know we can get the best read we can on the first shot. So we're going to do GW drive B, and then we are going to read to track 00.0.raw. We are reading both sides of the disk, and we are going to do revs. Let's go crazy with 8. Nah, we'll do 5. This will read each track 5 times and store that in our output files. And with that, I believe we're ready to go. And now we just wait for the drive to be fully read by the greaseweasel. We can already tell the disk is clearly single-sided because there is no data on the top side, which is interesting. Okay, they are labeled as single-sided now that I'm actually paying attention to that. They're also labeled as single density, which likely means that they will be FM, but we will see what we get out of them. Gotta wipe that dust off the front edges? No, that's structural dust. It's camouflage. It helps you not notice it with the tan chassis. See, it all just blends in. Came out with black bands on the felt. Ouch. Apologize, Mrs. Has greaseweasel know what sector size to pull in? In this case, it doesn't. We are not reading sectors. We are reading flux transitions. So essentially what we are doing right now is the drive is sending pulses every time the flux moves up or down magnetically because it's magnetic changes that are stored on there. That pulse gets read by the greaseweasel, which times the space between the pulses, and that is what we are capturing. So there's no way to read the actual analog data from the floppy drive because the heads amplify it and then gate cut it. But we can read the timing between those pulses. So that's the closest that we can get to the lowest level possible data that we can read from these. What we're going to do is we're going to attempt to decode those data time pulses into binary digital data so that we can work with it at a data level. Basically wave files? Not really though, that's the thing. It's not wave files. It's more like Morse code of floppy disk data. And each track is bigger than the entire disk capacity? Yeah. All right, we're approaching the point where this will get interesting. Yeah, so it looks like we have 77 tracks of data because after track 76, the data amounts are very weird. So we're looking at a disk that has 77 tracks of data, maybe has a weird first track, we'll see, is single-sided, and is not hard sectored. So now what we're gonna do we're going to open up HXC floppy emulator and let's visualize this floppy so that we can see what we're up against for trying to decode this. No disk loaded. Drop it in here. All right, we're going to use the dummy disk view and all right. So is that going to be 32, 26 sectors? Okay, starting with ID 1. That's fairly standard. And then it looks like we have data the whole way down. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of data. So we can see that, let's make sure it is FM encoded. Okay, there is a weird data track at the end of the disk, although it appears to be empty, so we don't need to worry about that. I have seen disks that would put a like a metadata thing in there, so we're not as concerned about that. Just a quick peek. Can we see any text in this? No. Ooh, okay. So we might be dealing with a weird data encoding, but we'll see what we can do. So, all right. Let's start to build a disk definition for this and see if we can decode this. And this is the point where I'm stopping recording because I now have to bring up my own wiki so I remember how you do this. Is it middle damage? No. No, so this is going to be track 76 right there. Yep, and then we have blank tracks. And then we have a middle track that is probably formatted with some like, maybe there's a DRM thing. Maybe it checks to see if this track exists or is readable as something. I don't know. I don't know why that's there on a copy. Okay. Basically, I just need the Grease Weasel disk def format. Disk def .tx. You know what? CFG. Let's try that. Open with Kate. That gets us syntax highlighting-ish. Okay. Select more track button, def, see if any encoding is similar. What, you mean just cycle through these? Because I don't think that's, yeah, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be one of the weirder ones over here. But I don't think that's going to be it. I'm pretty sure it's just FM. Yeah, it's just going to be FM. All right. All right. SSLG. All right, I am beginning to define a disk def file to describe this disk. We're going to call it SSLG. So going through, we definitely saw it was 77 tracks. There was only one head. We are going to use IBM FM encoding. All tracks are that. I don't believe there was an interleave. Let's double check that. Go back to FM, dummy view. Okay, so it is Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. Yes, so there is no interleave. We don't need to worry about that. The sector length is 128 bytes the whole way down. So we'll set, do we want bytes per second actually, or bits per second? I'm not 100% sure how we want to set that. It's bits per sector, yeah. So 128, and then we are 26 sectors. So let's go ahead and set that. All right, let's do our first attempt at a decode and see what we get. So we're going to do GW convert, and then we're going to supply disk defs equals disk disk def.cfg, and we're going to use format SSL underscore G, and then we are going to read in raw track 00.0.raw, and then we're going to do out.img. And what did I mess up? Is it plural for disk defs? Yeah, okay. So that is successfully reading all of that data. All right, all sectors found. Now let's see what we get out of this. What programs am I using? This is HXC Floppy emulator. The command line is using the Grease Weasel tool, and then this is imhex. All right, beginning to look at the data decoded from the floppy disk. Okay. So we have standard ASCII character encoding. That's good. It's not, what is it, edict, like IBM stuff, like super weird stuff. It's got skeletons in it, so that's cool. Keyboard not responding. Interesting. Okay. So being called a program disk and saying program disk loading, error program, copyright, something, something, video display unit, and then keyboard, so maybe a terminal. What I'm wondering is if this could possibly be a CPM system. So disk error, file error, drive code, disk number. So far I'm not getting CPM vibes from this. 1990. What? 8-inch discs in 1990? That can't, it's just got to be a coincidence. That is, no way. Okay, no Unix. What? Hold on. File out.img, just data. fdisk-l out.img. It's not finding a file system or table of contents. Interesting. Huh. File type first, last, sectors, probably location, words. Ugh, I hate words for file measurement. Disk error. Okay, so a repeat of some of the other data. Now, the 90 part is confusing only in that this is in a software disk. Okay, 1989 design by Phil Quirk and Rod Vardy. Interesting. Oh my gosh, so it really could be 1990? What was using 8-inch discs in 1990? That's insane. We're getting a lot of weird information out of this already. You know, this is VDU, possibly a terminal. This might be ASCII art. Total Recall, Solid State Logic, 1986. New tolerance from Studio Computer Group Fader. Okay, definitely music hardware. Confirmed music hardware. Okay. Now that's starting to seem a lot more like, here we go. Sending data via port. All done. Oh, look, it was used for Devo. Yeah, digitalized. So the weird thing about this isn't that they were still being used in 1990. It's that this was introduced in 1990. This is not the data disk. This is the software disk. Who was that name? I didn't see a name. I was kidding about the Devo thing. I don't see a name. Unless you're talking about the earlier stuff. I don't remember. I'm not looking it up because that's cheating. My whole goal here is not to find information about the machine and then use that. My goal is to work with nothing but the floppy and see what I can get from there. I don't want to know more about the company that made the floppy. Don't tell me anything. Okay. Yeah, this is super audio stuff. Okay. Is the whole thing just like completely full? Man, okay. So the question here is, what is this disk actually? So is it a custom binary system, or is it going to be file-based? Because normally, all right, when we image something like this, up at the top, we'll see something that looks like a file system table of contents. And that would give us an index of where the files are. I'm not seeing anything like that. So this is a BIOS, a program loader. Okay, that makes sense. And there's the binary data that gets loaded into RAM. That's the initial execution. That makes sense. Possibly still going. This might be the start of normal file-based execution. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything that looks file system-like here. So what I think we do is we move on to one more disk and see if we can find something that looks like a table of contents. This no Unix part is kind of interesting. I don't know enough about early Unix to know if this could be Unixy type stuff. So this might be where we go next. But I think our next goal should be imaging one of the other disks and seeing what we get out of that. So let's do reel 1. I'm gonna make a dir raw, and we'll go ahead and image that. Want to read those big walls of text? Actually, we can do that. Wow. Oh, I screwed up. They're all being read here. Hold on. Let's just... You guys saw nothing. Now, while this is reading out over there, there's another thing that we can do here. So back on our program disk, we can use the Linux tool strings, and we can do this on the IMG file that we decoded. And this will output every single string in the disk. So we're gonna go ahead and save this to a text file, and just call it text.txt. And then, while this is reading, we can go and look at that and get a better look at what all text data was stored in here. So maybe something table-like there. VDU keyboard card not responding. That just got more interesting. Okay. Total recall, solid state logic. Okay, we saw that. Studio computer program cannot use ROM. Please use ROM. Ooh, that's concerning. Because if we need ROM data, we don't have that. Okay. So these, that looks a little bit more like a file list. Interesting. Okay. But then it looks more like just regular program strings. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have word wrap on. Just 16-bit character printout. Okay, cancel. You can't cancel now. Oh my gosh, that's the best program error ever. Oh, sorry. There you go. Okay, so there's not a whole lot that you missed. Basically just the other stuff that we were looking at. This is the thing that looked kind of like a file list, except it's a mix of things that look like commands and files. So I don't really know. All right, scrolling on. This is, you can't cancel now. I love that. Printer offline, printer empty, printer timeout. Okay. Program disk, real disk, current real. Okay. Real disk. All right. So this is getting more interesting. Impossible drive number, no data on real. File directory full. Okay. So it is directory based, at least on probably the real disks like we're looking at. Okay. Now we don't know what the directory structure looks like. No room in directory. Okay. SSL G series computer. Okay. That's something. Playing, cycling. No queue, mixer title. Can't do that. Okay. Seeing some some Easter eggs in there. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna look up what a Mitsubishi X850 is, because I don't think that'll be related to what this is. Okay, so Mitsubishi X850. Okay, so that's a multi-track audio reel recorder. All right. So it can probably control that. So the reels, they might only contain metadata. So these are probably the tape drives that would contain the actual analog data. So, okay. That's good to know. Patch history. Standard SSL patches performed. Patch histories. This is, we're finding some interesting stuff here. Okay. Z8 synchronizer, SEC, location. Okay, let's. All right. That's internal stuff.
ZHGER 100. I want to record to spare machine. It sounds most useful.
End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. I mean, it said SSL G series on the disc, so I knew that. I'm not looking that up, though. Labeled data cartridge or floppy. Ooh. You definitely mean this. Why did you ask to do it? Old software was the best, man. And Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits, if I didn't say it. Okay, copy cartridge. So it has cartridge backup? What on earth? Is it a tape cartridge? Because, like, no one was using SRAM or something at this time for floppy disk level data, I can tell you that. Cartridge format, destroy all data on the disk. So it's a hard drive cartridge. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so something more like what I have in my data generals. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this disk is 100% nothing but software. I don't think there are any files on this at all. So maybe if we're lucky, we'll see something that looks like a table of contents on the other one, which is finished, and I don't think we're going to get too many more hints out of this. Just more fun snippets from the software. So I think we should move on to the other disk and see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that disk def. I'm going to pop it in there. Just double check. It's probably a similar structure. That looks like it's all the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it is the exact same disk structure, because usually that is defined in hardware or at a very low level like that. So it'd be unusual for a drive to So it'd be unusual for a machine to read different drive. So it'd be unusual for a machine to read different disk formats like that. So let's just go ahead and try this. Tape cartridge would make the most sense until it said disk. All right, and we will just, and we'll go ahead and extract strings first and see what we get. Not a lot. USC, School of Music, Nobody Records. Okay, definitely a bunch of names. Not crazy about that, but okay. And then what seems like a bunch of data. Okay, you know what? I want to open this in HXC and see what the disk utilization looks like. Did I miss anything cool? We are 100% sure at this point, well I am, that the program disk is nothing but software, and I don't think it is based on an existing operating system. All right, so this disk is about half used. Everything else there, E5, is empty. Okay. Now, I'm trying to remember what was the blank output for a CPM disk. Random 8. CPM disk versus, none of that's really that useful. Projects, data general is also not useful. So generally, when a disk is formatted at a low level in a machine, it will use a specific byte sequence to indicate that the disk is empty. And in this case, they're clearly using E5 to indicate that this is blank data. We can see that the disk sector is full of nothing but that. So that will be a hint as to what this is kind of based on. I don't remember if that's CPM or not, though, right now. All right, let's look at the binary image in imhex and see if any patterns are obvious there. That's something. All right, some information here. Weird repetitious patterns. Blank sector. Some small amount of data that is not easily discernible. That's strange.
Redactup subscribed with Prime. They've subscribed for 19 months. And says no more ads.
End of line.
Remdogcap, thank you for the Prime sub and for 19 months. That's 17. 19 months of hanging out. I appreciate that. All right. Final mix. Interesting cuts. Okay, these look like file descriptors. So perhaps we have a description block that is related to a file delineator block. Yeah, I know that, Remdog, on the real definition. Yeah. Okay. This is just kind of funny, because this is just going to be like generic, every music song ever uses that kind of breakdown, but also it's like wrapping around, it doesn't match the 8 characters or 16, whatever it is. Okay. It's very blank. Okay, so that seems like maybe our first file, starting right here. Those are very repetitious sections. Cuts, instrumental, final mix. Then this repeats again. That's weird. Is this some... 1, 2, 3. There's no 4. 5, 8, 9. That's some kind of incrementing value. Incrementing in a non-standard way. All right. Well, I don't feel like I am learning any more about how this might work from here. I do think there is the potential that between maybe 1,000 here and 5,000 down here is a table of contents, but that's kind of big for a table of contents. A lot of spread there, so that doesn't really feel correct. So I think, so I think now I'm gonna start to look up what the SSLG series is so I can get an idea of what the data that is on here might be. Because we can read the data. While I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and read the last disk just so that we have all 3 read. So make dir raw, and I will swap that out. And then let's look up what the SSLG series is. All right. So, giant mixing console, huh? So it's possible that this could be storing values for this stuff? Are these going to be motorized faders and pots? I think I see add-in board slots over there. Some computer module stuff. Definitely computerized data entry here. Solid state logic studio computer. Okay. Interesting. I'm not seeing an 8-inch drive on this one, but that's definitely not an indication of much. So add in boards. Here is what the display looks like. Literally a clock. That's hilarious. Oh, we have time code and I'm not sure there. A different look. Oh, interesting. Wait, their own website? That's 1976. Okay. We've already determined that this one's from the 90s. So what might we be looking at? Geez, you know it's ridiculous stuff when it looks like it should be the NASA control room. Okay, so cartridges there. Possibly Bernoulli hard drives. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense that that's the stuff in the background. So sometime between here and this. That is where our unit software is. So let's see. Legacy 4000, G console, marking the pinnacle, punchy, aggressive, sonic character, blah, blah, blah. They're going to talk about the audio stuff. We want to know what the computer is like. So that's different. Look, it sports 4K. This is probably more along the lines of what we have software for. Okay, so such a long run of hardware makes it a little bit more difficult to nail down. So yeah, mixing console will definitely not be recording audio. So at no point is there going to be a chance of getting audio out of this. So these are most likely actually just settings. There may not even be a concept of files, or at the very least, the files aren't going to have any meaningful information. Yeah, I'm thinking this might just be fader automation. If they're motorized. I don't know that they're motorized. Self-centered. I'm allowing you to drive the fader, blah, 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 blah. God, I hate audio people so much. Sounds like it did record audio. Don't think we put it on one of the flops. Yeah, well, okay, recording? Where are you getting recording? Dude, how is everything involved with In the Air tonight? What was the other piece of famous hardware? Is it the drum synth? God, these speakers suck. I mean, I'm sure they're great or something, but they look terrible. Does it sample? Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Large format mixing consoles. Okay, let me actually read this. 1976, SSL combined SL4000's inline mixing console with a computer that provided fader automation and programmable tape transport auto location functionality. So to explain this, it would transport lock the tape. So the tape would have a time code strip on it, most likely, and it would be able to rewind the tape to the exact same spot every time. And then you could play audio from that along with other devices to be able to line up multiple audio sources, which would have sucked back then. So that is a pretty darn sweet feature. Total of 6 consoles. I'm sorry, wait, what? A total of 6 consoles were built? Like, that's not model variations. That's like, it came from one of 6 things. Yeah, I know I have G series, but like that's ridiculous. That's insane. But then it goes from B to E. So let's see. Okay. The G series, the AES convention in 87, offered redesigned EQ among other improvements. So they probably would have been more popular at this point. Were also later made available 5,000, 6,000, blah, blah, blah. 1986, 83% of number one singles that year had been produced using an SSL mixing console. Okay. More platinum albums, blah, blah. Any other company, 2004, there were more than 3,000. Okay. So by 2004, then there were 3,000. That's still 6. That's like insane. Now, 3,000 of the era that is closer to what we have here, that is at the point where it starts to end up in like colleges and stuff. So that's probably where these came from. Okay. So let's read through this to try and figure out what we might actually have on here. Introduced 79, offered various improvements, including new 4-band EQ. Most notably, the series introduced the save and recall mixer settings. It was the first mixer to feature compressor gate on every channel, as well as master, bus. It's so funny that they don't care that much about the computer side, even though, like, still 87, that's really impressive. Inclusion of dedicated compressor noise gate. Successors, widespread adoption, professional recording studios. I'm not getting that it does recording. Sounds like everyone's a prototype. Yeah. They offered to buy it back. That's impressive. It didn't get murdered by students. Although it was probably so expensive for the college, they didn't let students use it, and then they never used it for anything. Sounds like, yeah, well, so we have the floppy disks that drive it. It's one of the things Wesley gave me. And so far, it's seeming like we've probably reached the end of the journey for the data decoding, because I have a feeling that the way the hardware is structured is very basic in that it's not going to have a concept of files, and it will be address coded instead. So let's say you have a module that might be at like address 2. The configuration data for that module might be at address location 2 on the disk. So that could be why we're seeing something like this and then a huge gap, and then there'll be something else later. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be as trivial as finding a table of contents and extracting files, but I didn't really think that was going to happen in the first place, because file systems are tricky. I can't imagine that this is useful. Like, no offense, but how this seems way too complicated. So, music recording. There's a keyboard. There's more keyboards. Patch. SSL patch page designed to letter each row. Far left. Input output module. Okay. Between SSL, G, and E. G series has 4 output buses. Label left front. Blah 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 blah. Stereo buses. Blah blah blah. Uh huh. Yeah, I'm good without the hardware. So yeah, rack. Card slots, yeah. So some of the images of what we were seeing did not represent this. It more represented what that manual is showing, and that over here is the card rack for the computer potentially. Maybe there's disk drives down in here that looks 19-inch rack-ish. But it's hard to see in these images. No, that's a patch bay right there. So if that was what was on the left, that's not the rack. That looks upright. There's a keyboard. Wonder how much keyboard weirdos pay for that. I like how they have to list used for something from like 1976. That's weird. Can it be used for live shows too? Yeah, I really, really, really doubt that this is doing ADC. But I would like to confirm that. Actually, there was a list of all the cards. Okay. Blanking card. Full card processor, whatever that is. Floppy controller. Memory. Memory. Sassy interface. Now that's interesting. That explains how the Bernoulli drives are connected. Okay. VDU, timecode, tape machine interface, graphics processor. Yeah, so this does not record audio. Yeah, I have a feeling that you could order it configured and it would come with different drives if it's Sassy. So there might have been hard drives connected to this. There might have been Bernoulli, like SideQuest, whatever. It could have been a bunch of stuff. Sassy, by the way, is a precursor to SCSI. So, yeah, there's a bunch of peripherals for that. Digital recording was possible, but I don't think it would be built into the mixer. I think it would be the output stage. So there'd be a dedicated device for it. It would have essentially emulated a tape drive. Yeah, that is weird. Well, here's the question. Do I try and put these discs on archive.org? Or is this one of those things where there's going to be a banhammer coming because the company has big old money and they're going to want to not have their software put up there because they probably still have service contracts active for this. Well, you guys say that. I don't, this is a different level of thing. Yeah, so there's manuals up there. The software is the part that they would go after. Ask them, the answer will be no. This is one of those things where it's either you ask for forgiveness or you don't ask at all. Only upload flux data so it's not usable without knowing how. That is an option. Music industry is cranky? Yeah. You doubt any studio is actually using this thing. I don't agree. I don't agree. Maybe they lost their own software and are looking for it? I don't think so. I don't know what this manual for V'ger is for, though. That one's weird. Let archive.org decide for you. You'll probably have nothing to lose. If they banned my account, I would be very, very sad. I have already had a copyright removal on archive.org. I don't know how bad that is. Archive.org DMCA takedown. Account banned. Terminating users, our discussion would be repeat infringers of copyright. Yeah, so, yeah. I think everyone who uses it does that, though. Loads of studios in the Netherlands still use them. Yeah, this is kind of funny, how it's everyone just trying to get stuff off of there. I'm talking about people who getting banned. Remdog, I guarantee you, anyone who's paying the kind of money that they need to pay to get their hands on one of these is getting it with the software. No one is selling this like this. This was on, like, this is on a sale place, okay? This was not sold without the software. I guarantee it. No one has this in their basement and then dies and then their spouse flips it at a garage sale. That's not what's happening here. Those are still loved? Yes, I know. That's what I'm telling you. There is no one out there who has one of these who's just missing the floppy and then they're going to be able to run it. That's not a thing. How useful is the stuff even on these discs? If you have one of these, the program disc can probably operate it. I bet there's a strong chance that the other two discs are only useful on the exact machine that they were used on. That the card configuration, the fader setup and all that stuff is bespoke to each one. This is weird. This is a studio clearancing out this stuff. I have a feeling whatever machine this came from is never going to be operable again. Unless the same buyer bought every single thing. Which doesn't always happen. Here's a fun example. Here's a thing that would be really cool to buy. Hey, look. Here's ASU, the local university, selling a scanning electron microscope. I should buy that, right? That would be cool. Yeah, so here's the thing. You see that over there in the background? That other palette there? So that has the control computer for it, and they already sold that at a different time. It's gone. Whoever buys this cannot use it, and whoever bought this cannot use it without this. So when I see something like that rack listed, that tells me that hardware is either never going to be usable again, because they're not going to be able to marry the two together.
100 scanning electron microscope. Bidding war between Usagi and Shelby.
And a line.
Nope. But thank you for the 100 bits. Scalping time? I know, right? Yeah, it's $27. No one wants it because it's a dead weight. This already sold. I watched this sell because they sold the computer before they listed the microscope. I think it sold for like 300 bucks or something. Yeah, it's very disappointing that they did it like that. They should have put them together. But, oh well. I might have actually bid if they put them together because I am stupid. So anyway, yeah. I'm glad I didn't look this up first. This is why I didn't want to look this up first. Can we get info on the buyer? I don't believe so. Because if I looked this up first, I would have said there is no point in archiving this. So this is the end of the road for this project, but yeah. This will be useful to no one, and is not something that I think I should publish. This is an interesting bunch of drivers. I don't know what they go to. Kind of weird. Reverb.com. Is there one for sale? $200,000? Might be an adapter kit to replace a computer with a MacBook. Maybe. Can I play some old school PCB design software then? That's at home. That is awesome though. But that goes into my... You know what? Actually, hold on a moment. I just realized something. Where is it? Oh, where did I put it? Oh, I got a lot of heavy stuff. I think I might have the box for those discs you gave me somewhere. Because I bought a set of floppies that was incomplete. And they came with a box for a later version of pads, if I remember correctly. And I was really disappointed. So I'll need to find that. I don't know where it is. There's a lot of places and there's stuff all over now. So yeah, that's a different project though. And like I said, it's at home. Could I host it on my website? That sounds more dangerous than archive.org. You already showed us a hex dump of the whole disk, so now we can pirate it all day long. Go for it, yeah. Where things like that were decided. Just build the computer sitting on shelves. Oh, you're talking about the sales stuff. Yeah, it's so stupid. Already put the ISOs in archive.org, by the way. Awesome, so I can be lazy. Yeah, there's probably no reason. Really? Yeah. For one, they would have to send a DMCA request to me directly, then. which I would then have to comply with personally. But if they were bigger jerks about it, they could do something like go to the DNS provider and try and claim that it's a pirate website or something. So I don't host files from my wiki, basically. That will never happen. It is meant to be a catalog only, and then a like guide information database. It's never going to be a source of downloading things as a security precaution to make sure that the other information can stay up indefinitely. That one's like way newer though, DZAC. No one wants that garbage. Look at all those 4x3 monitors. Pfft, flat panels. Put them Comcast, get them degrade you. I don't think it would be that level. Although, ISP, I mean, they would have a harder time with that. Linode account would be more likely to be compromised because it's reverse proxied, so they wouldn't hit my home ISP. But yeah, I'm not really crazy about that. All right, I think we wrap this up for the video portion of this. Oh, you know what? For kicks, let's just image one of the blank discs. Just real quick. Blank. Just to make sure that they're actually blank. Oh, perhaps not. Not that it matters, since we can't do anything with the data, but, Although those sectors all being basically the same sign is not a good sign. Diego, there are 3 companies that are fragments of HP. That company is now Keysight. The company who makes laptops is still called HP. The company who made, well, also that, but actually I guess that company is HPE, HP Engineering. The company who made my test equipment is now Keysight. And then HP proper is the garbage computer company. So, it's too lazy to label floppies. I just remember what was on them based on the color. Oh gosh. Behringer, we got SSL at home. Speaking of medical stuff, you know what? Hold on. Craigslist is a little risky. Look at that. I want this. I want it so bad. I have literally no reason or excuse to buy it. But dude, it's so weird. It's an ultrasound computer. Okay, there's the computer part, all right? Dude, it'd be hilarious if that's, well, Desiac would know what that is, potentially. I see a Sony, I know exactly what that is. Sony composite video printer. So that is, yeah. That's one of these here. Probes have been in bad places. Ultrasounds are used externally. So yeah, this takes in a composite video feed, and then, yeah, you can DZAC them all you want, unless you're gonna DZAC them into storing it somewhere too. That ain't gonna happen. You have that enclosure, not like the whole rack, right? You just have the computer part, this. But yeah, that thing is hilarious and awesome. That keyboard is cool, isn't it though? The whole thing is just awesome. I guarantee you I could buy this and make a video about playing Doom on it and make my money back, because that's just the kind of stupid thing that YouTube would like. But then it has to sit around, or I have to try and flip it for $500. Just a drive enclosure, not a PC? Ah, okay. So maybe the PC is back here. I guarantee you there's a very bog standard boring computer in here somewhere. VGA out, modem, USB, yeah. Is that VIP video out? I don't know. It's probably the ultrasound thing. I can see power supply stuff down there. That doesn't look very ATX, but yeah. Tell that external only thing to your wife? Really? How do they like even do that? That doesn't... Maybe I'm wrong, but... Because the like direction matters, and I don't know. Anyway, donate it for tax break. I don't think that's how that works. Is that a laptop up there? Does that come with it? Why am I getting an eBay notification? Anyway, we imaged the blank disk. Let's look at what's on there. All right, well, let's see what eBay wants. Oh, eBay's like, here's why you should. So, if you remember a while back, we were working on the Blue Book stuff, and I think one of the developers of 86 Box was here. And they were saying that they were trying to work on support for multi-session discs. I think it was that. And one of the things that they said was a test was Carnivores, PC game, all right? It's not a particularly common game, but it's not rare, I would say. This is someone who has it listed for $100 as brand new, okay, on eBay. And then they have a picture of the disc sitting outside of the box with the jewel case label out. And there's a paper sleeve in the background. So nothing about this is brand new, all right? And I offered him 30 bucks, which is my go-to price for just a big box PC game that no one actually wants to play. And no, that auto rejected. And now eBay's saying I should offer them 50 bucks. And like, I'm not paying 50 bucks for that. Not happening. That's hilarious, Alcroft. Multi-session support. Maybe we can try BOS? Is it BOS install disk multi-session or something weird? Prices of those desks found 4,000 E-series, 55K. I know it's not there. Yeah, they're going to be outrageous. When I saw that the first one they sold 6 of, I kind of had that idea. Excellent condition, have not used in 7 years. Yeah, that part's kind of funny. Go Gadget, I would not be surprised if it's a serial device. That's how the Hydro Thunder stuff works. It's all just big old serial device. Oh, I'm still recording. Whoops. Well, I was going to look at the disk. It's empty. Hold on. Now let me start recording. Yeah, the blank disk, empty. No data. So just formatted. They're probably all like that. All right. I am going to record an outro for the second channel video. And then I don't know what we're going to do next. I have zero plans. I was kind of hoping this would take longer, not just end in, oh, you know what, maybe not. All right, well, I'm going to call that a bust on this challenge for getting the data off of here. I did get the data off of these disks, and I bet we could recreate these disks to use on the machine if we had access to it. But in reality, now that I know that it is probably a multi-$100,000 mixing console, I suspect that there aren't too many of these in, you know, random people's garages where someone needs this disc uploaded to archive.org to be able to use it. So I'm actually going to not upload these images to archive.org because I don't really want to deal with the wrath of the music industry coming to my account on archive.org when in reality, literally no one is going to be able to use these discs because they are way too weird and not that interesting. I'm also pretty sure, based on looking at the manuals for the machine, that the only possible things that the data disks there could contain are configuration parameters for the mixers and faders and all that kind of stuff. There is nothing in that machine from 1976 that would have been able to record audio, especially to like a 280K 8-inch floppy. So there's nothing to be gained there other than the software, and the software is a legally dangerous thing to publish. So that is going to be all for this video. I am going to keep the archives of that myself though, because eventually it will enter the public domain and someone will be able to publish it, but that's not going to be me. But anyway, if you enjoyed this look at an archiving challenge that, I don't know, it's hard to say whether I won or failed on that one. Let's call it a draw, because I don't really think there was a good victory condition there. You may want to subscribe to the channel because I'm probably going to try this again if I get another weird set of discs. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon. But for now, that's it, and I will see you next time. All right, there we go. Second channel, done. Video done. All right, now what? Now what do we do? Only a handful were made. Well, that was the B series, not the G series. I suspect there's a couple thousand of the G series, maybe several hundred, but yeah, not something some rando is trying to set up. So we're not doing that, but I think that'll be interesting enough for a second channel video. So, alrighty. I don't really want to work on PyDisk Rip right now, but I kind of want to work on PyDisk Rip. I don't know. X-ray machine on Craigslist. X-ray machine? No. I don't want that anywhere near here. Absolutely not. Redeem's Clean Office. We're never doing that on camera because that's just me every now and then wandering into frame. That's never going to be there. What's the success rate? Do they fail often? I think I have had a total of 3 discs ever not be readable. One was one of the 8-inch discs that was moldy. One was a Radio Shack game, and I still have it. I could go grab it, but it's not that important because it's warped. So the disc jacket is bending so much that it isn't actually able to be put into a drive and read. However, I could actually read that disc if I cut the jacket open and pulled the media out and transplanted it. I have done that for a different disc. And then I think I had one commercial disc that had damage to it, but that's different. Anything that would be user error, I would not count. But yeah, it's pretty rare that floppies don't actually work, unless there was some kind of user damage. So, office cleaning with GoPro on headband. No, because you guys will just complain about the shaking the whole time. Like, I'm not kidding. You would. We're not doing that. Rather have an MRI. I can only imagine how dangerous a redneck MRI would be. Oh my gosh. That would be so bad.
or who says CHEER 100, that's unfair. We complain about everything anyway.
And a
Yeah.
line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. How much space do I still have on this? 2/3? Bonus project? Something I've been meaning to do for a really long time? Do I remember zip disk? I got a drawer full of them over there. All right, project number 2. Hello there. Today, we're going to take a look at something I should not have bought. And I know I shouldn't have bought it. And when I looked at it at the store, I'm like, I shouldn't buy this. And then I bought it because it's just too cool, man. Like, how can you not want a CED player? So here's the thing, okay? If you don't know what CED is, it is a video format, and the video is stored on, how exactly do you open this again? It's been a while. I bought this in 2022, so you'll have to forgive me somewhat for not exactly being an expert on this, but CED is stored on vinyl discs. This is like a record, but a much higher quality record that is a lot more fragile. And here's the thing, okay? You can get a lot of movies on this format, and there are some cool ones. We got Kroll, we got Fraggle Rock, we got, I guess The Godfather's pretty okay. I don't know what Humphrey Bogart in that one doesn't sound like one I want to talk about. Judy Garland the Pirate. But then we got Charlotte's Web. Okay, there's good movies here. Okay, now here's the thing. Goodwill labeled this as a parts unit because there is a loose disc inside of here, and there is kind of a needle that reads these things. I have no idea what is going on in here and how bad it's going to be, and if I could actually repair this thing. So today we're just gonna crack it open and see how bad it is and see if there is even the faintest bit of hope that this machine can ever play another disc. Yeah, it's not gonna go well.
Matt Genko Tech says CHEER 100. There's a disc loose about this boost.
And a line.
Jaco, thank you for the 100 bits. All right, so a word of advice for anyone who finds CED players interesting and thinks you want to get one, don't. They're a terrible idea. They're extremely unreliable, very fragile, and probably going to be impossible to repair. Basically, I would need another one with a needle that's probably not all bashed up to get this one working, even if all of the other mechanics are fine. But I'm not 100% sure about that. So we're going to crack it open and see what all is going on in here. Schmide, thank you for the 100 bits. I have no idea what I'm in for. The only thing I know is that I see a couple of screws on the back. So we're going to try and take those out and then see what happens. More like a loser disc. I don't know. It's a format that I think would be awesome, but I think it's inherently terrible. Okay, so what happens with this? Okay, that kind of lifts up there. Don't tell me there's more screws on the bottom. I don't have to flip this on its side or something, do I? No, there's some tabs along, there's a lot of tabs along the front. Oh my gosh. And then there's a base, like this is a record player. I mean, it kind of is a record player. Okay, so there's some metal, they're not metal, they're plastic tabs along the front. It's like this wants to lift. Oh, okay, that works. Hey, look, a disc that's loose. And, well, that's kind of nice. There's like some stuff in there that tells you things. I don't like that there's like leaky spots, although maybe that's the glue. All right, first things first. How bad is this loose disc in here? What are we looking at? So I see a platter way down at the bottom. So this is probably what the disc sits on to be read. Is the needle below? If the needle is below that, which I guess it can't be, it's not a needle. I don't actually know what the read mechanism is, if I'm completely honest. So I'm probably very wrong about that. It's been a while since I looked up CED. I just kind of like bought this and I'm like, I'll figure it out later. If this can't fall down into the read area, maybe it's fine. I don't know. So that'll flip forward. What can happen? I can pop these out, I think. Wait a minute, is this gonna be super easy to remove this disc? Okay, hold on, this might work. So this is some kind of clamp that centers the disc. And then these have tabs. And yeah, they just kind of pop out. Okay, this disc is trashed. I see scratches on it, so I'm not gonna try and protect this disc. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it'll say on it what it is in any kind of meaningful way, but there's no way it's ever gonna work again. You know what? Can I get it out the front? No, the flap doesn't open all the way. I don't know how the mechanism is jammed, but it definitely seems to be jammed somehow. I would prefer not to completely trash the disc, so I'm trying to see if I can find a way maybe to scooch it back just enough. There we go. Can I bend it? Oh, I think I'm gonna get it to come up and out. Here we go. This might be it. This kind of hurts my soul, but this thing is trash. There's no way this is gonna be salvageable. So let's just get it out. Hope for the best. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, there are a bunch of scratches all along here. That's not me. And then there's this one that I'm pretty sure was just me. But yeah, there we go. One CED. I think this is maybe the last side of a multi-disc movie, because that's clearly data, and that I don't think is. I bet that's only enough that says, hey, dummy, put this in on the other side. Yeah, that's kind of pretty. A little bit of a shame I had to scratch it up to get it out, but I think it was worth it. Okay, so what is the playing mechanism? How does that work? That's what you use the scanning electron microscope for, yeah. CED injured, yeah, that's going up on the wall. It definitely is. Okay, so we have this thing that centers around this doohickey. This kind of spins. That would go down. Okay. Well, I can put these back in now. I guess there's no harm in turning it on now. So I'm gonna plug it in. This doesn't use lasers, so it's not like my eyes are gonna be at peril in running it without the case on, unlike a Laserdisc player. All right, power. Okay, spinning. It did some, oh, that lifts out? Oh, that would have been helpful. Oh well. It kind of lifts out, I'm not 100% sure. There's a spring on the other side there. Flap does not want to open. I'm gonna see if there's an eject button. There's a reject button. There's also, it's flashing L on the front because it knows that I've already lost. But I'm gonna press reject. No. None of the buttons do anything. I'm gonna turn it off and on again. Okay, off, on. Well, now that's down below. So there's this, like, little peg thing that moves up and down. So turn it off, it goes up, I think to remove the disc. And then you turn it on and it goes down. Weird. L means there's no disc and it wants one loaded. Really? Okay. Which movie? I already know which movie. We're gonna do the one that's probably racist. Okay, so we're gonna try and load a CED in and see what happens. Desiak, you got 5 seconds to convince me that this is not the one that I should load, and I should load The Pirate instead. Classic film, the broken one. So here's how actually we could, but I will risk another disc. So in order to load a CED, you put the whole tray in like that, which, how is there a disc in without a tray? Did someone manually load a disc in? Because I don't think you get the insert back. That stays in the machine, doesn't it? I'm now super confused. Did someone manually cram a disc in there or something? No? Does it lift it and pull it out? I got no idea. All right. We're not putting Charlotte's Web in there. Empties the disc out of the tray. I thought the insert stays in. That's what I thought. I mean, we're definitely not putting in Fraggle Rock. That one's awesome. Yeah, I'm putting in African Queen. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. It says L rip bozo. That's, the door is jammed. I don't know if there's something in the way. So it's right there. If I turn it off, it pops up. It's still blocked. Turn it back on. It comes down a little. Yeah, we've changed because the floppy disk stuff went too well and not well enough. It says L. It doesn't say anything else. What is holding this up? Okay. It's, I think, this gear? I think it's bottoming out over there. Yeah. So there's this linkage here that goes up to the door, and the gear back here has channeling in it, and it's hitting the center hub there, and it doesn't go any further back. So that is as far open as the door I think is supposed to be. Let me turn it off and on and see what that does. Yeah, that moves. And then it's stuck more. Careful around the power supply. We only touch the best bits here, don't worry. I wonder if this is supposed to go down more. Maybe this is not moving enough? Interesting. It did not like it when I applied force to that. I wish I knew literally anything about this. Okay, dumb question. Where's the read head? Like, I see a coil right here. Is it under the platter? Is it actually, like, super well protected? Maybe the gear jumped a few teeth. That's very possible. But I don't know. In the front corner. Oh! So there's like a tray thing. So there's a gantry. So this is going to be the read mechanism, I guess. And then it moves out? Okay. So there's a wheel over here. Yeah, so it's going to roll out. Oh. Then the player might actually be okay. Huh. Well, if that moves, I wonder if that could also be related to the door. See, I don't think it's the gearing not moving as much as it should or anything, because it really doesn't seem like this could move any farther no matter what. Like, even if I tried to rotate that around, it would not do anything. Disco Vision was Laserdisc. Specifically with Leonard Nimoy. I think it was RCA as well, actually. So, the door is being jammed at kind of the same spot, even with it powered off. Yeah, I feel like maybe there is something up there. I don't know. Okay, so that's not the sensor for finding a disc, maybe? I want to trick it into thinking I'm loading a disc somehow. What would that look like? Man, this thing's got like... This thing's complicated. There's this doodad. This thing moves up and down. This thing does stuff. That does stuff. I think this does stuff. Like, maybe this whole thing moves, actually. This thing's crazy. Wait a minute. This is gonna... There's like little switches over there. Oh, well, that's locked in place now. Cool. Ooh, whoa, what? Hello. Okay, it thinks it has a disc. Because it just moved. Hold on, play. No, reject. Alright. Well, that did some stuff up front. But then it moved the read gantry out again. I wonder if I jammed this somehow. Reject. I don't think it's happy. I feel like I can't get it to turn off either. It's not a hard cut power situation. So it's flashing 2 dashes. Press the power button. Did nothing. Press the power button. Did nothing. Hold the power button. It's not like it's going to have 10-second auto off. It's not a PC. It ejected the stuck disk you already removed. I'm not sure. The overhead lights be activating sensor switches? I don't think so. I don't think there's any optical sensors in here. I'm going to hard power cycle it. See what that does. I'm going to guess not a lot. No, it did literally nothing. And now reject. There we go. Holding reject. Dude, I love the disc platter. Oh my gosh. I think I've got something stuck back here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Power off. I'm just going to hold reject. There we go.
David Phantom subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 47 months, currently on a 47-month streak. And says, yo.
End of line.
I think I just folded forward more that time, didn't it? David, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 40 math. 45, 47 months. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't think it has a real off. Okay, it says L again. Door is still kind of jammed. There's nothing in there that I'm missing. Let me go grab a flashlight to make sure that there's not something just like loose up in there, like some little kid jammed a Lego head in there. That's going all the way down. Or the playback thing needs to move. I'm not sure. There's a metal bar right here. And that metal bar is blocking the door. It straight up cannot go down anymore physically. So either that bar needs to move, or we're barking up the wrong tree. Holding reject does nothing there. Pushing power did nothing there. Power. Try to put a disc in when you force the unload so it opens the door. When you force the unload. You mean when it moved the gantry? So to move the gantry, I pulled this out. And then it thought there was a disc loaded, I think. If I turn it off and back on, now it's like trying to do something. Whee! I'm not sure the motor for the platter is okay. So at that point, that metal bar did not move. So the metal bar is stationary, I think. You can see it's still there. The flap still hits it. No, there's no drive belt. Pretty sure that's direct drive. Oh, that just does that. Okay. That would have been good to know. Feeding it toast and stuff? Yeah, definitely. Door flap got jammed upwards. Bar has a door trap midway. Move the bar, drop. The bar does not move. It is screwed directly to the chassis. So force eject. Okay, well the motor's obviously fine. Maybe it's just not detecting a disc. I don't know what the deal is with this thing. Like, if I pull that out, this does not move side to side. Force eject again. Okay, this time it's going to stay there. It says L. Okay, what if I'm just... It does not open a lot. Okay, that just feels fancy there. Okay. It tried to pull it in itself, but it kind of sucks at it. I think these wheels are trying to pull on it, but they're weak. And this is grabby. I'm just gonna assist it a little bit here. Go, come on! Ah, you're so close! You can do it. I believe in you. Ooh. Okay, so it does leave the tray in. That's what I thought. This is horrifying. Dude, does this thing work? What? I'm terrified of the premise of trying to get that disc back out. But we might be onto something here. The fact that it's still going makes me think that it's successfully reading. Yeah, hold on, we got a CRT over here. Oh, you know what? I have a color television. Let me just grab that. It's somewhere. Dude, I got no idea where it is. There it is, found it. Oh, there's the Remington. I was wondering where that went. Okay, I need this. And, I need this. Or maybe that. That one's better. It's still going, huh? Okay. Dude, this is going to be hilarious if I have a functional CED player and I've just been too afraid to try it. Also, does anyone make acrylic covers? Because I want an acrylic cover, because that thing's awesome. The head assembly is moving. Dude. It's a good thing this office is a clean room, am I right? Now that's a TV? Yeah. Now, if only my cable would thread on. Yeah, I'm trying to connect to RF. Because this is RF only television. Surprisingly, I know. Okay, we're on channel 3. Can we see ED? Oh, you pull on it. All right. No way. Dude, what? It works? That's insane.
David Phantom says I was perfectly happy to do black market surgeries in the office CHER 100.
Phantom line.
David, thank you for the 100 bits. All right, then. A little bit of skipping there. Let's reject. I don't know how. Okay, reject. So I'm looking at the display. It's saying UL now, because it's a UL listed device. Not quite there, buddy, but okay. There we go. I kind of love this thing. What? Hold on. We know it's not going to murder discs now. So much for diagnosis and repair. Yeah, but you know what? I will take a it just works stream. Fraggle Rock, come on. We got to have Fraggle Rock going on. Oh, you were so close. Come on. Okay. Ah, that's horrifying. I love this thing. Dude. It's a functional CED player. What? Now we know I got a disc stuck in there. I don't know how it got the tray insert removed though. Okay, no one look. It's only licensed for a private home exhibition, and we're in an office, so this is bad. Don't do it. Don't look. Dude, what? Aw, yeah. Wait, I tried to mute it. There we go. Dude, this is amazing. I was not expecting it to just work. What the heck? Dude, it's so fast too. Is it 60i? It's smooth video. Yeah, I love this thing. This is awesome. What? Pretty sure it's a rubber motor or a rubber wheel problem, so not something that I can easily solve. So it's 60i. Well, that's what the broadcast would have been. It's not necessarily what the media format is. Okay. We're going to try Kroll. Dude, this is awesome. Why does this one sound loose in here? No, it's fine. Okay. 1800 RPMs. We have 2 frames per track, so 60i. Okay. Let's try Kroll. This is an RCA disc for the RCA player. Nothing keeping the disc, so it's got like a 45 RPM record hub right there. So it drops down around that. No, I bought all of these discs independent of the player. So none of these are going to be the one that's missing. I love this thing. It's incredible. I'm so happy. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I need to go to Goodwill's and start looking at the CEDs now. Okay, what's scan look like? Because it should just move. Oh, it shows in real time. That's awesome. What's with the horses? This isn't Star Trek Genesis. Give me spaceships. Oh, wait, that's right. It's a space opera, so they're going to be like a whole bunch of weird random nonsense. It's occurring to me this is an 80s movie. I should not. Whoa! That was a lot of sound. Or is it a 70s movie? I'm not actually sure. Same thing. They would have had no problem showing nudity, basically. That's the thing I need to be careful of. Wiped off the grease pencil parts and write works. I know, right? Oh, man. If I had a grease pencil, that would be hilarious. Dude, I love this thing. SCD more shelf life than LD? Well, since they're just physical records, like the tracks are physically encoded, I would say probably. Discs are highly fragile, prone to damage from handling, wear out after roughly 500 plays. Oh, I'm sorry. I can only watch a movie 500 times? Darn. What a ripoff. Now we need to know what movie is on the unknown disc. There's no way on earth I am putting that in here. That's not happening. I don't care. No. I could take out one of the trays and swap them around. One, then one of the other discs that are good is out in the open exposed to elements. Two, that disc is damaged and I don't know what that's going to do to the read mechanism. I'm not doing that. Now we need to doomsday it? It might be possible. I don't know. If we can do VHS and Laserdisc, this thing should be doable. Look for a matrix number in the run out. I can do that. Do it. I am not kidding when I say it is not happening. I am not risking damaging this thing. Why does it work? Like, what on earth magic nonsense? Damage disc can rip the stylus off? Yeah, we were super not doing that then. I don't know how this thing still works. That's incredible. Okay. Let's see. It says don't do it. Okay, I got a number for you. You guys ready? Write this one down, okay? 7 6 4 7 6 hyphen 0 0 6 0 8. There you go. And now for those of you who didn't listen, I'll just show you it on camera. Yeah, I'm going to guess you get nothing out of that because no one's cataloging CEDs. True Grit? Okay then, I'm good. One moment. Wait, that'll work. There we go. Okay. Apply time to apply sandpaper to the disc. All right. Wow. It's a shame this isn't an RCA TV. Oh, that's a good looking set together though. Oh, that looks awesome. I'm playing Fraggle Rock again. It's 2600, yeah. Well, all right. That's a working CED player. All I had to do was just remove the bad disc. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm now going to be on the lookout for CEDs, I guess, because that's too cool to just let languish. Well, if you enjoyed that admittedly pretty simple little repair, you may want to subscribe to the channel to be notified when I release another video. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon. But for now, that's it, and I'll see you next time. All right, that's it for second channel video. Again, that's 2 videos in 2.5 hours. Watch CED spike in price. Yeah, I don't think so. What's my favorite movie player? Right now, this one. Buy again? Yeah. How many videos are we doing today? I don't know. It's going pretty well, though. Productive day? Yeah. I did. Dude, how was the CED player such an easy repair? It's making a weird noise. Oh, that's the floppy drives. I should turn those off. All right. So reject. Okay, so it's going to say UL, and then I slide the caddy in. With some assistance. I'm going to be careful because I don't trust that it fully went in. Nope, it's all good. Dude, this thing's awesome. I'm so happy. Less unreliable than previously thought? I guess so. I am excited. I did not... Functional CED player? That's just ridiculous. Okay, blue means stereo. Oh, okay, well that's cool. This one is music, actually, so it's songs of Fraggle Rock. It's not like just the show, which arguably is better. And then Kroll, I forget exactly what Kroll is. It's probably just another Star Wars alike. It came from Arizona. It's not like it spent its life in a damp garage.
GER 100 player says I'm more reliable with my covers on, just like a lot of people.
End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Whole new world of movie entertainment's just been opened up. I know, right? How much was the player? I think 15 bucks. Yeah. Television was free. Goodwill was just going to throw it away. Just shrug off loose disc? Yeah, I cannot believe that worked. Oh, I know Kroll is good. I've watched Kroll. Maybe not good. Classic is, yeah, the correct word. Okay, well. Now what again? Today's going too well. I'm not used to this. What's another project that I've been putting off forever that's going to turn out to be super easy? Dude, I'm not kidding. Since I got this thing, what was it, 2022? Okay, go back and watch every single scripted video. In the bottom right of the table, you can see the Kroll disc, because it's been sitting there because I've been dreading trying to make it work, assuming that there was going to be bits of broken needle all over. Hydro Thunder fix? That's an office destroying fix. No. Those giant CDs like a floppy, so that back there is one of them. That's a CED. It's a record that has super tiny grooves in it that's read by some kind of capacitive sensor. So, back to another deck writer? No. Commodore 1541 drive. That one's not going to be super easy. No, we're not touching that. Also, it would take a lot of work to try and do that. Nova and 4. Yeah, that's also not an hour-and-a-half long type project.
Monters says CHEER 100 now boot the DG off of Z.
And a line.
Yeah. Sorry, Automod. Oh, yeah, all right. Any other movie players fix? Technically, yes. It would not be easy to get to. I can't remember what is exactly wrong with it. First Vista XP computer, that's now the Alaritech robot control computer, so no. Although, I would actually like to know if that has a 500 gig or I think it has a 500 gig drive that I did not put in it, actually, so I think I'll just leave that. Bigger ultrasound machine, DZAC lowballed to one, they would accept 150, are you kidding me? No. Surprised the TV works? Nah, TVs are fantastic. The TV I've used a fair bit, so it's a known good condition. Composite mod? It already has composite out. You cannot composite mod the television, or at least I do not care to. It has lived 40 years so far without being destroyed, damaged, broken. I'm not going to be the one that does that. RGB mod TV, that's gone. Bye. I found a sucker for it. Thank you, Kaiser. Horror that set is being on channel 3. Yeah, I kind of these go so well together. What'd you do? I pawned it off on him. Yeah, that's all. Pretty close to what it looked like in the wild in 82. Yeah, I think these are an absolutely fantastic match for each other. I love that they're all 19-inch width too. I hadn't realized that that was the size of this TV. Or that consumer stuff would have like standardized to that size. I think CED had composite out being that old. Composite's been around for a while. And again, 80s. Like, it's not that old. All right. I want a Velcro strap for the power cable. Since now apparently this thing works. Tempted to take this home and set it up. I have my LVD 4400 set up at home so I can actually play laser discs. Maybe this joins it. Added more phones? No, because I don't collect phones. What year is the television? 85. So same year as the NES. Probably pretty close to the CD player. This is an SJT 300, if anyone wants to look it up. RCA. All right, getting that thing out of here. I have a UHF. Oh, I know why that's there. I'm going to leave that there. That's there for stupid stuff that has the dumb RCA connector. I don't know why there's a Velcro or a zip tie on here. I'm just going to cut that off. We genuinely hit the bottom of the barrel on the potential projects I had planned. Everything else would take too much time to get set up and going. Oh, it is a little weird that it has the manual tuning dials like that. Yeah, that part is slightly strange. My KV2145R, that is at the CRT I have at home, does not have that. It's a full digital tuner from 4 years earlier than this. Yeah, fine, take her with the next month. Now what? Well, more so, I really thought that the floppy stuff was going to take a lot longer, and then we would just figure out some kind of rando thing. Also, you have tomorrow to continue on. Yeah, but I could probably think of a different project between now and then, and we'll have 4 hours instead of 1, realistically. So, the only 1 hour to work on something was kind of making this a little difficult. There we go. Dang, I was not expecting that to all work out so well. And now I know the CD player is a lot more robust inside than I would have guessed. It's weird hearing the platter rock around in there. Hold on, I'm going to grab this off the wall and I'm going to take a picture to use for the thumbnail. If I had my phone, I think it's over here. You know what I could do? I could actually be productive. I could end stream and go home and start editing this stuff. Dude, CEDs look crazy. It's like, it's just, whoa, dude.
Loraku said CHER 100 you could end stream, go home, and give Tenko a slight heart attack.
End of line.
I mean, have to start your stream early, though? You're not ready? You don't have to. I don't know. I'm actually kind of leaning towards that. Anything else we can do, we realistically can't do that much this amount of time. Errors per second if I alter. I can have one, can't really do so much. Yeah. Internet Ninja, hello. The sun symbol in the weather forecast here next Saturday. There's other weather symbols? Just wants to go offline, watch Franco Rock music video. No, and realistically, this is going to stay here for now. Got to figure out an actual plan for it. So, yeah. There are other weather symbols, exactly. Let's see. What temperature is it here right now? Let's play that game. It is, drumroll please, in February. 77 degrees out. Oh, yeah. Love it. All right. Is it a Laserdisc player? No, this is a CED player that apparently just works after I did some minor repairs on it. So yeah, I really do not have something else that we can knock out in an hour, I think. I am trying to look around, see what I've got to hand. Everything else is much bigger of a project, so I think we do have to call it there. Yeah. I really need to get the dot done. What's the weather symbol for dust storm? A guy with the lines behind him going like that. Everyone's supposed to be at the restaurant, yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up. It's all stream though. I know, yeah. Usually it doesn't go so well that we end early because it went so well. Like, and this isn't, this is the nature of the physical item streams, not like the software, where once it's done, it's done. Just like, there's not anything else I can do with it. So, yeah, other than enjoy it, but that's all, copyrighted stuff that we can't experience together on stream. So, so the Phoenix on i10, yeah, more like i8 coming up from i8 or the 387. But yeah, all right. You just switch my central air on. Well, does one have different words for sun like you would have for snow? Why don't you clean up a bit? Then I realized all the things I could do. I can't clean on camera. I've kind of established that. It just does not make sense to do that. I thought I was going to come in here early to do some cleanup, but then I tried to set up Nginx for RTMP streaming, and it turned out that was just a terrible idea, and Nginx sucks, and I hate it. So I gave up on that. But yeah, I don't want to do that. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. I think we will wrap this up. I really did not anticipate doing that, but I think it just makes sense because I will go home and I'll start editing this footage. So, which by the way, we just recorded another third of the drive. That's hilarious. All right. I'm calling it. Well, thank you all for being here and hanging out for a weirdly productive stream. I genuinely did not see it going that way. Find a spare stylus. I don't know how that works. I'm gonna go home and research more about CED players now. That's for sure. Now that I know that it's not a complete waste of time. So yeah, genuinely, I thought I bought garbage. I genuinely thought I bought garbage. Yeah, it was just for the kicks, the lols. But then, well, now I'm a CED collector. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for now. If you all enjoyed this stream that was way too productive, don't expect that next time, but you may want to follow to be notified when I go live again next. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon or get a shirt like this one. But for now, that's it, and I will see you next time. Way too productive of a stream.
Thank you.